All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and me. So, sad news again in the world of geezer rock, as I affectionately call it these days. Eric Carmen, who is known for one song, according to the media, and that is All by Myself, which is a great song, but there are other songs by Eric Carmen. He was far from being a one-hit wonder. Eric passed away at 74 years of age in his sleep. This, according to several news outlets that I've perused. So I'm thinking this wasn't expected. He wasn't suffering from a long illness, although, again, there aren't many details surrounding the death of Eric Carmen. All I can tell you is that 74 is not that old. You've got Billy Joel, who's 74, out on tour right now. Stevie Nicks along with Billy Joel. She is 75. I'm not sure that Eric Carmen was active in the last year or two as far as going out on a major tour or anything like that. But Eric, he's loved for his 70s material and for his 80s material. For the ladies of the 80s, most of them owned the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. And I know I used to have lady friends who owned the album, the cassette, and the CD. That was a huge cultural moment, especially when you consider soundtracks and all of the great music on there. And Eric Carmen had one of the biggest songs on that album called Hungry Eyes, which probably sustained many adult contemporary radio stations up until today. And I'm sure Eric will get a few extra spins on these radio stations. Just a great singer, a vocal range somewhere between Benny Mardones and Rod Stewart. I mean, I've heard him sing differently depending on the type of music he's singing. Obviously, a crooner of the highest order with All by Myself, and my personal favorite, Never Gonna Fall in Love Again, which I just think it's a song that I can hit repeat on and not be bored with it. A little classical music in there as well. For you folks who didn't know, the song utilizes a portion of a piece by Rachmaninoff. Okay, I'm hopefully saying that correctly. It's been a long time since I even thought about that. But yeah, it's just a killer song. And then, Make Me Lose Control. You go back to the Raspberries and you have Go All the Way, which is maybe the beginning of power pop. Some people will go back to the late 60s to find some good power pop music, but there's no better example of a power pop song than Go All the Way by the Raspberries, who put out, I believe, 4 albums before Eric embarked on a solo career. So definitely a great singer, songwriter, arranger, performer, and we're losing quite a few of these great performers. One person sent me a message saying the die-off continues, and there's not much time left for this music in general. And my theory is a lot of these folks are going to pass away in the next few years, and radio stations may start to memory hole a lot of their music. I've noticed that when someone dies, there's obviously a brief flurry of interest, and they start selling downloads and they're getting airplay, and their albums again start appearing on the charts. This happened when Jimmy Buffett passed away. And there'll be some interest in Eric Carmen. I'm sure they'll move a few units of the Dirty Dancing soundtrack today. But again, how much longer is this music going to be front and center? I know there are some radio stations that will continue to play the same songs. forever. I mean, they've been in a holding pattern for at least 40, if not 50 years in some cases, incorporating in very little of what's been happening the last 20 or 30 years. So, Eric Carmen, you're probably going to be played for a very long time on most radio stations that you've already been played on for a very long time. In the 90s, I got to tell you, Hungry Eyes was probably the #1 adult contemporary song that's like an old song or a recurrent play song. Every day, there was this one station up in Massachusetts that I used to listen to, and it was everything from Dirty Dancing. But you had to hear Eric Carmen at least once a day, or you weren't listening to the right radio station. You probably lost the station, tuned out, and you needed to tune it back in. And once you heard Eric Carmen, you knew you had the right station again. So anyway, those are just anecdotes and memories of the whole thing. So I really liked Eric Carmen. He was a great artist, a great performer, and it's another sad day in the world of music.